Phoenix Splash TV. Captain Falcon, you know him, right? That dude who says Falcon Punch in Smash Bros. He's basically become the icon of the Super Smash Bros. Series, even though his gaming franchise doesn't really exist anymore. If you see Smash Brothers, it has to have Captain Falcon. As such, he's treated with dignity in those games, always appearing as a badass. Here he is taking on not one, not two, but three of the main characters from Fire Emblem Awakening. Now that's just badass. Back in the early 2000s, F-Zero was actually an established franchise with a burst of games coming out for the Game Boy Advance and spawning the best racing game ever made, F-Zero GX. When Nintendo calls upon Sega to make a game go fast, you know you're in for some serious cheek-pulling madness. It was actually the first collaboration by Sega and Nintendo, and it was actually a match made in heaven. The greatest thing about F-Zero GX is its gameplay. It's really fast, and once you get used to the speed, Mario Kart would just feel weird to you. You can attack, boost, and spin around when other ships are on your tail. The courses range from pretty easy to pretty difficult, but I never felt that the tracks were too hard. You might hear the phrase that F-Zero GX is too hard. It is when you put it on hard. Yeah, hard actually means hard in this game. If you want to play it with a medium difficulty, then pick normal. My favorite thing about F-Zero is that when you enter a Grand Prix, it's really anyone's game. It's cool because someone like Black Bull could be in first place in one course and then get last in the next. So if you get 17th place or something, you still have a chance to win the entire cup. Also, if someone is just dominating the race, you can just knock them out of the race and they won't be able to score in that track. There are other modes in the game. There's a pretty cool story mode with cinematic cutscenes. It's pretty much like playing an F-Zero movie. Now, I'll admit that some of the missions can get pretty tough, even on the lower difficulties, but they're a good addition to the main races, and of course you can only pick Captain Falcon. Beating these story missions will unlock some pretty cool secret characters, and they're overall entertaining. There's also multiplayer mode that can hold up to 4 players, and it's pretty fun to get people gathered around to play it. There are a ton of unlockables within this game that'll probably take decades to be unlocked. There's even a customizable ship that you can make and a shop where you can buy even more racers. There's also racer profiles, and each racer actually has an in-depth story, and some racers have resemblance to other characters from Nintendo, like how EAD looks like Mario and James McCloud looks like Star Fox. There's also a ship that resembles Sega's Crazy Taxi. There's even a J-Rock reference with a ship called the Pink Spider, which was the name of a hit rock song in Japan by Hide. Unlocking everything is a really big challenge, and I have to admit that I don't have the skill to beat some of those missions on the harder difficulties. So here's Chris with some expert F-Zero advice.
Well, the story mode missions I think they were harder than the Grand Prix courses themselves. How do you beat them? You have to play them over and over. I don't think there's any other way to go about it. There's a lot of trial and error and strategies to it. The best ships to use in F-Zero would be, well, for me personally, it would be the Blue Falcon, Red Gazelle, I forgot what Super Arrow's ship was, but his ship, Mrs. Arrow's ship, Spark Moon, sometimes Black Shadow's ship, but I don't know, it's hard to steer. The worst ships in F-Zero GX, I think, would be the Blood Falcon, Dr. Stewart's, that old man's, and Samurai Gora's son's ship. I think F-Zero is the best racing game of all time, just because you go freaking fast. I played a lot of racing games in my time, such as Mario Kart, Midnight Club, Gran Turismo, Wipeout. I could go on, but none of them even came close to F-Zero GX. The replay mode was very cool in this game. You got to view your ship at all or not all angles, I guess just a given few. You get to switch songs. There's a time attack mode which you could race around the track and record your best time, and you can save your ghost to where you can have the other player race your ghost to see if they could beat them. I always thought that was fun. Back in the day, I read a lot of stuff online saying that it was impossible to unlock AX Cup, but all you have to do really is just beat all the Grand Prix tracks on Master Mode. Once you unlock the AX Cup, it's pretty easy compared to all the others, except Ruby Cup, and because that track was designed specifically for the steering wheel in the arcade.
Thanks, Chris. There's your F-Zero GX gameplay tips. When you do beat a cup on Master Mode, you unlock these awesome cinematic videos starring your favorite racer. They're pretty neat. There's actually an interesting uncredited voice cast in this game. Racer Mrs. Arrow is played by Donna Burke, you know, that singer from those Metal Gear songs. Samurai Gora is voiced by Ryan Dries, who also voiced Tom Johnson from Shenmue and Jeffrey from the Virtual Fighter series. And of course you have Eric Kelso, who voiced Ren and Guizhong from Shenmue. There's actually a number of Shenmue NPC voice actors that appear in F-Zero GX, which I found pretty interesting since they're both under Sega. The music in F-Zero is another great aspect of the game. It's done by Hidenori Shoji, who's the composer for the Yakuza series and the Super Monkey Ball series. There's also a co-composer, Daiki Kaisho, who wrote those awesome Gran Turismo songs. There's a pretty cool Captain Falcon song when you look at his profile.
In this world you've got to be strong. You've got to fight to keep your spirit alive.
And I know I butchered those names, but I tried. Overall, F-Zero GX is an amazing game, and the only complaint people had was the fact that it was too difficult. But overall, it got pretty good reviews, so why hasn't there been a new F-Zero release? Well, according to my research, aka Google searches, Miyamoto is content about the series and states that there really isn't anything new that they can offer with the series. Supposedly, Miyamoto thinks F-Zero as a series was a disappointment, but at the same time praised F-Zero GX as a game. There's really no concrete reason to why a new F-Zero game hasn't been made, but it's pretty fun to speculate. So, have you played F-Zero GX, or are you a fan of F-Zero? Leave it in the comments below. Also, if you have a favorite F-Zero character, leave that in the comments below too. Mine is this guy, Drac. He's just so badass. Anyways guys, this is Game Analyzer, signing off.